All of Us Are Dead might apply to the name of the show, but it doesn't apply to all of the characters. As we've seen at the end of season 1, half of the group surviving. However, is Cheong-San in that half of the group? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, and today we're looking at the possibility of Cheong-San coming back in season 2. Pretty much most people's favourite character in the first season, the fearless high school student that was kicking ass, willing to sacrifice himself, putting his life on the line time and time and time again to save the group. He lost his best friend, he lost his mother. We don't know if he lost his father in the chicken shop, but who knows? That's probably been blown up as well. He pretty much lost everything. He became massive rivals with the school bully Genam, who we've seen turn into one of the Hambies as well, and they had a big feud throughout season 1. For me, Cheong-San was my favourite character of the show. Episode 11, unfortunately, he meets his demise, or at least we thought he did, when the explosion went off and him and Genam fell down the elevator. However, it is confirmed that Cheong-San's actor, Chan Young, has been casted for season 2 and he will be back in the show. So what does this mean? It means his character is an official member of season 2. His actor has been casted. His actor will be in season 2, but in what form? Or if in any form?
I'll tell you, hopefully he's back. I enjoyed the guy. I enjoyed their wee mini feud, but at the same time, alright, I like when people are killed off. I don't like these fake deaths and bringing people back. It feels very Fast and Furious, you know. Oh, remember, he died in the third one, but we're bringing him back in the 10th one.
Well, I ain't bringing Paul Walker back. Anyway, let's get
fucking hell, relax.
Let's get into it there. So I think there's 4 possible outcomes. Well, listen, he must appear in some form. So I've got 4 possible outcomes that could determine his appearance in season 2. First outcome, and this to me would be pretty disappointing if it's the case. I mean, 2 of these outcomes are disappointing. The first one, flashback pre-death. So I think maybe if they want to add some backstory, if they want to have some flashbacks, they could potentially be bringing him back just to flesh out some other characters. And yeah, maybe we'll see him and some of the other members of the group before the apocalypse, or they could add some new scenes from season 1 that we didn't see that they could maybe show in season 2 with maybe Cheong-San saving people's lives, but we've already seen that. So, I mean, they could bring him back for just flashbacks. It would be a little bit disappointing in my opinion, but it's a possibility.
That seems to be the generic option. A lot of TV shows do that. Movies do that.
Yeah, I don't want to see that, but I think maybe that is an option. Second option we've got is he comes back as a regular zombie. Now, I think this is unlikely, considering I believe the blast would have probably killed regular zombies, and if he's just a regular zombie, then he's got no feeling, he's got no emotions, he's not really adding a lot, in my opinion. However, he could potentially be adding to other characters that were close to him, other characters that had a connection to him, and I guess they could put him down. We've seen this in zombie films before, especially when you think of like Resident Evil, when Rain has to put down a member of her team when he comes back later. Forget his name, but you know, the Spanish looking guy.
Marco?
I don't think his name was Marco, but he comes back in the underground after he got pulled into the elevator of zombies. We've seen this happen in zombie movies, and like Daryl putting down Meryl. You know, we've seen this where they don't really offer much as the character themselves. It's more the impact it has
On
the living character that was close to them. So, I mean, is this a possibility?
I'd say so, yeah. I don't see why not. Because, again, it's realistic. It's not without the realms of, you know, reality.
But I think you could argue if he was a regular zombie, he would have just died.
No, you can argue that as well, because he was a regular zombie. I mean, we've seen millions of regular zombies go out now.
Yeah, so that's the first 2 options. We have flashback for just pre-death flashbacks, and then obviously he returns as a regular zombie. The third option is he comes back as a Hambi, so that was the hybrid of a human and a zombie, where you kind of half turn, but you don't fully turn, and you manage to control and keep a lot of your, like, I don't know, brain capacity and feelings and emotions. You're basically your former self, but with like super superpowers, like natural powers, the ability to heal, super strength, all that sort of stuff, but obviously a craving for blood. Now, he could come back as a zombie like his rival, Genam, who was, as we've seen, a pretty, he was a piece of shit before he turned into a zombie, and he was probably even worse after he turned into a zombie. So, I mean, there is that possibility that he comes back as an evil version of himself, and that maybe he could be the new antagonist. He could perhaps resent the group for maybe it was always him putting his life on the line, always risking himself. Maybe he fused the group, let him down, which I think they kind of did in episode 11. Maybe he's out for revenge. Is that a possibility?
That could be a possibility. Be a different turn of offence. Why not? Why not? That's be unique. Go for it.
Yeah, so he could be essentially, he could be the new Genam, I guess. And we have the fourth option where he could return as a Hambi like Namra, the class president, who was basically the same version of herself. She wanted to help, she didn't want to hurt people, but she just turned into that like half hybrid version of a zombie who was still relying on blood. We've seen her multiple times considering chewing people and sucking them out, but didn't do it. And then we've seen her like having to chew her own flesh, which was a little bit weird. But I mean, she did return at the end of season 1, at the very end, and she revealed that there's more people out there like her. Could she be referring to Cheong-San at first? At the end of season 1, I think we were kind of expecting him to return with Namra, but he didn't. Is it a possibility that that's the kind of role that he will play in season 2, where he's back as a half zombie and his mission is to protect the group? Could that be the fourth option?
It could be the fourth option. Maybe, is it the least likely one? I think so, but why not?
The least likely?
Yeah,
out of the 4?
That's what I'm going for.
So you don't think he can come back like Namra and just help the group, no?
No, because I think that would be very repetitive of what she did. I think they'll go for something different. But I think the way these articles are worded, it feels more like a cameo-esque appearance rather than a full shebang.
He was one of the first cast members, though, to be featured in the season 2 announcement. Now, either that means you've got a big
draw people in.
Really? If someone's doing a cameo, are you one of the first names announced?
Well, when I say cameo, maybe a reduced role then.
Reduced role. So, guys, there you go. There's 4 options here. It has to be one of these 4. I don't see what else it could be. Either we're getting pre-death flashbacks, where it was just flashbacks from before he died. Now, it might be before the zombie outburst happened, or it could be additional scenes that they didn't have in season 1 that they could add for season 2, which would be kind of cool, I guess, if we got to see new scenes.
Yeah, but then again, if he was the first guy announced, for one of the first guys announced for season 2, is that not a bit cheap? Oh, here's additional season 1 scenes, but we're announcing this guy even though it's season 1 scenes.
I mean, he could be a regular zombie, but I highly doubt he would be announced just to come back as essentially a zombie for someone to put down. That is truly a cameo appearance.
No,
and it doesn't seem like you would be announced as one of the first cast members for that sort of role. So I think that leaves the 2 Hambi options, and either he's going to come back as a good guy or he's going to come back as a bad guy. And that's pretty much the only thing I can think of. Now, I recall there was only 3 Hambis in season 1, and they all seem to just mirror the kind of human being that they were before they got infected. So if that's the case, I would have to imagine that Cheong-San is going to come back as a good hybrid and essentially continue to risk his life to save the group, because that's what he done when he was alive. So I would have to imagine that's what's going to happen. But I mean, who knows? Considering how he died and the offence of his death, then possibly he might come back as evil, because we've seen with Genam, when he died, his last thoughts was he wanted to kill Cheong-San because of the fight they had in the library, and he essentially got him killed. And then when he came back as a half zombie, that thought, that carried on with him, and he made it his sole mission, really, to take out Cheong-San. So Cheong-San's last memory is, I mean, I guess the group leaving him behind. However, he seemed okay with it at the time. He kind of wanted them to, because he was unselfish, he wanted them to
go without
him. And I mean, even when he was about to die, he literally says, I'm the happiest guy in school. So I don't know. I think he's going to come back as a good guy. Maybe it's the most predictable outcome, but sometimes predictable doesn't mean bad. And I do think there's been instances in series and shows where they've went with something unpredictable to try and you know, give us a shock, but in the end it doesn't really make sense. And I don't know, would it make sense if he came back as the evil villain? I'm not convinced.
No, I wouldn't like that. I think the good guy role, that's what I want. That's what I want to see. And I'm looking forward to season 2.
Anyway, guys, that's it. Let us know your thoughts down below and we'll catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.